Telecoms Minister asks ECTEL to address resilience in telecommunications providers. Dominica recognizes International Day of the Forest with tree planting at Botanic Gardens. Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Kimani St. Details of the headline stories and others coming up.
I believe in the natural order of things. I believe in the harmony of things. In everything we do, we have to keep it natural. I've been doing farming for now over a decade. My day is very hectic, but I make it light, because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy producing the best quality goods and to make sure that the people that receive it, they receive the best that they can ever get. Right from the farm, everything that I grow, I process them back into the farm so that these same things that grow in the farm is what protects the farm. Tourism is my business. It's not just dealing with the foreigners that come in, but it's preparing those things that when they come, they can feel and taste the difference in coming to this exotic island. And it starts with the farmer, because we provide the things that they eat, that they taste, that they drink. I believe in my heart that it's my responsibility to provide quality. My name is Tony Alves, and tourism is my business.
Welcome back, and now for the details. As the government of Dominica has spelled out its aspiration to be the first climate-resilient nation in the world, the Honorable Minister for Telecommunications Kelver Darroux has made a number of suggestions to the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, for ensuring resilience in the area of telecommunications. On Tuesday, ECTEL handed 2 checks amounting to $350,000 to the government of Dominica and the NTRC. ECTEL also suspended some of its regulations to facilitate the provision of telecommunications service after Hurricane Maria. Honorable Darroux told ECTEL representatives that while this gesture to assist post a disaster is commendable, ECTEL should ensure that all governments of its member states strictly follow and enforce the established protocols for telecommunications in times of disaster.
The OECS regulatory arm. May I suggest that ECTEL seeks to not only respond to funding gestures such as these after disasters, but to look at ensuring governments strictly adhere to and enforce the provisions of the Temper Convention on Emergency Telecommunications in all jurisdictions in member states, in keeping with the mandate to ensure 1. Reliable, rapid availability of telecommunication resources for disaster mitigation and relief operations. 2. To facilitate international cooperation to mitigate the impact of disasters. And 3. To facilitate the effective, timely deployment of telecommunication resources that rapid, efficient, accurate, and truthful information flows are essential to reducing the loss of life, human suffering, damage to property, and the environment caused by disasters.
The Telecommunications Minister also asked ECTEL to consider putting in place a unified network for use by all subscribers, irrespective of their service provider, in times of disaster. He says this is important as telecommunications is critical before, during, and after a natural disaster.
That simply means in Dominica we have the 2 main service providers, Flow and Digicel. And as the Minister, I think it is important that during the disaster, these service providers, they are able to share equipment to ensure that if one service provider has their towers up, you as a subscriber, because you are not subscribed to that particular service provider, you won't be denied. But we can quickly move the process forward so that they can utilize the same towers and you can have communication restored to consumers who may not be subscribed to that particular service provider, and that is critical.
Honorable Darroux also suggested that providers meet specific requirements to obtain licenses as resilient service providers.
In the same manner that ECTEL establishes criterion for being a licensed telecommunications provider, I believe they should look at the terms of conditions required to be a resilient telecommunications service provider. To obtain a license, as specific conditions ought to be laid down for resiliency in network design and architecture. And that is something that the government of Dominica is seriously looking to. And we've just completed the tender process, and we are hopeful that whichever service provider is selected to continue providing the government of Dominica with telecommunications services, a key component of that would be to provide resiliency for that network, the design and the architecture.
In more news, World Water Day is an annual day of recognition for focusing attention on the importance of fresh water and advocating for the sustainable management of the world's freshwater resources. This year, the Dominica Water and Sewerage Company, DOWASCO, held activities for highlighting this cause. Priska Julian attended the main event and reports.
The Dominica Water and Sewerage Company, DOWASCO, on Thursday recognized World Water Day along with the rest of Dominica and the international community. The main event to celebrate World Water Day took the form of an exhibition held at DOWASCO's head office in Roseau. This year, the theme for World Water Day is Nature for Water. And for the Public Relations Officer of DOWASCO, Edward Regis, this is especially relevant to Dominica as we strive to protect and manage our waterways for building a climate-resilient water system.
The theme for World Water Day is Nature for Water, and that is a very, very important theme, and one that really fits into our situation right now. And it is all about helping us understand how we can take care of the water that we have in terms of conservation, so that we do not pollute the water, and that we do not, through human activity, cause floods and damages and so on. We just experienced Hurricane Maria. What could we have done to prevent as much flooding as we had? Maybe nothing. But maybe there was something that we could have done. In the whole sense of building resilience, we now have to ask ourselves questions here in Dominica as to how we manage our water resources and how we ensure that water serves us well and does not turn against us to become a threat to lives and property.
The exhibition was for the sole purpose of educating students and the general public on different aspects of the purification and maintenance process that DOWASCO uses for potable water. Science teacher at the Convent High School, Mr. Wilshire, and the president of the Environmental Club, Mrs. Dover John, found the exhibition to be incredibly valuable for students.
It is good general knowledge to have. These are things that the average person doesn't know, and the students can learn various techniques, and they were actually given some tablets to help purify the water. Right? So it is not just good for school, but it is good in their general life. All of this information is valuable information.
This exhibition is very, very vital to a lot of us. A lot of us don't really understand what goes on at DOWASCO. Now we are learning about how the pipes work, how water is purified, and how things really work. It actually helps us to understand how much work goes into getting water at our house. It gives us a greater appreciation for water, and this exhibition is very informative, and I am very grateful for being here today.
Reporting for GIS News, Priska Julian.
Thanks, Priska. And finally, in recognition of International Day of Forests, the Division of Agriculture held a tree planting ceremony at the Botanic Gardens on Wednesday. The Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Johnson Drago, extended words of commendation to the staff of the Forestry Division for their work in protecting Dominica's forest. This year, International Day of the Forest was celebrated under the theme Forests and Sustainable Cities.
Forests and trees help mitigate the impact of climate change in and around urban areas. Urban trees are essential air filters, removing harmful pollutants in the air. Well-managed forests and trees in and around cities provide habitat and fruit protection for many plants and animals, helping to maintain and increase biodiversity. Urban green spaces, including forests, encourage active and healthy lifestyle, improve mental health, prevents diseases, and provide a place for people to socialize.
3 species of trees will be planted: the ilang ilang, pink pui and pink cassia. In keeping with the theme of this year's recognition of the forest, Director of Forestry Minchington Burton says the ceremony is symbolic of the task ahead to replant Dominica's forests.
This year, the theme for this year is placed on forests and sustainable cities. And therefore we have decided to have this short ceremony, tree planting ceremony here in the Botanic Gardens, not only because it is the largest, most picturesque urban natural space within the city of Roseau, which is of course our main city in Dominica, but also as a symbolic gesture in recognition of the important task with which we are faced in replacing the many damaged trees within the Botanic Gardens following the passage of Hurricane Maria, and the restoration of the gardens is one majestic setting.
He says the division has not been able to fully quantify the damage done to Dominica's forests, but have been focused on clearing trails and important sites in order to get the tourism sector back on its feet.
So we've lost, yes, a number of major trees in the gardens, and of course the task for replanting is quite a challenging one. You know, with the fact that trees take quite a number of years for them to actually be able to mature and grow back. So it's a tremendous start for us, but it's also an opportunity for us to be able to look at a holistic development to redevelop the gardens and make it even into a more splendid, one of the more majestic gardens in the Caribbean, which it was at one point in time.
The division will also host a tree planting ceremony in the town of Portsmouth on Thursday. And that's the English news. We now join Shaakira Pierre for Creole highlights.
Bienvenue à ce nouvel Creole, non moi c'est Shaakira Pierre. Corps gouvernement de mission yo, ça c'est pour faire Dominique premier pays là à la terre qui s'apprend changement climatique. Ministre pour Telecommunications Honorable Kelver Darroux fait numéro suggestion par autorité ECTEL pour faire cette une résilience en secteur télécommunications là. Mardi, ECTEL fait une présentation un chèque à valeur $350,000 pour le gouvernement Dominique. ECTEL aussi suspend régulation pour faciliter provision là pour service télécom après cyclone Maria. Honorable Darroux, the representative ECTEL, condonation ça là c'est pour aider après un cyclone. ECTEL supposé faire certain que tout gouvernement à tout pays en Caraïbes là suivent protocole là établi pour télécommunications en temps de désastre. Ministre a aussi demandé ECTEL pour mettre un système en place pour tout subscriber qui pan qui affecté compagnie qui a procurer service by en temps de désastre. Honorable Darroux dit il apporte à télécommunications bien nécessaire avant, pendant et puis après un désastre naturel. À d'autres nouvelles, Président Dominique, His Excellency Charles Saver will s'ouvrir lettres credentials hors ambassadeur neuf la hors Republic of Finland pour Dominique. Relations diplomatiques entre Dominique et puis Finlande étaient établies en l'année 2009. Président Dominique, His Excellency Charles Saver du pays Finlande bien connu pour éducation, changement climatique et puis communication, technologie. His Excellency Saver dit il croit et puis relation Dominique ni et puis pays là, Dominique bénéficie de ces secteurs là. Président là fait parole qui Finlande a fait commitment pour mettre plus attention à sa corporation communauté Caraïbes là. Commitment ça là été fait possible en un MOU qui était signé en l'année 2016. Pour ça, point changement climatique, c'est une priorité par gouvernement et puis His Excellency Saver qu'a remercié Finlande quand il a supporté pays comme Dominique pour ça point changement climatique. Ambassadeur neuf la dit Finlande qu'a doublé et puis Dominique après cyclone Maria. Il dit après cyclone Maria, Finlande voyait une équipe Dominique pour aider et puis communication. Ça c'est tout pour Nouvelle à Creole. Non, moi c'est Shaakira Pierre. Au revoir.
The Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, in the wake of Hurricane Maria, has declared Dominica's intention to become the first climate-resilient nation in the world. But it's not a task only for government. It's one that should include each and every Dominican. But do you know what it means to be climate resilient? Colin Wainwright of the United Kingdom Department for International Development, at a recent panel discussion on climate resilience, explains the United Kingdom's definition of climate resilience. Let's listen.
The ability of countries, communities and households to manage change by maintaining or transforming living standards in the face of shocks or stresses, but without compromising their long-term prospects. So that's very broad, but I think what I want to emphasize about that is that it covers that kind of individual, household level, up to communities and up to sort of sectors and overall countries, that it's not just one bit of that is going to make a climate resilient nation, and all of those parts need to work together. And I think sometimes it's sort of, it is the environment department or a climate department that feels that the responsibility is all theirs. But actually it really does need to be across all sectors of society for sort of full resilience to be there.
Hope we learned something, and that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS on facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and also follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kimani St. Thank you for watching.